Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Donnie.
I'm Nick, and today we're rambling about Steve and his maple syrup.
Nice. So we're in Steve's Sugar Shack, and Steve makes maple syrup from sugar. So would you consider yourself an authentic sugar dad?
Yeah, I'm a sugar daddy. but it's really easy to make maple syrup from sugar. It's when you make it out of sap.
Oh, my apology.
Yeah.
That's why we've got you on today, because I know nothing. So, what size of property do you have here?
16 acres.
Okay, and how much, like, how many trees can you use in a season then with that? It's all treed or what?
Yeah, so it's about 10 acres of trees.
Okay.
And it's a maple and oak forests mixture.
Okay.
So it's not all, but it's, we don't come close to tapping everything we have. So it's more of a hobby, you know.
So your whole family's involved in this?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I just wanted to do less work, so I had a lot of kids.
You had a lot of kids,
yeah.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's always easier when you have lots of kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially, it's cheaper by the dozen.
It is.
We're
working on it.
We're working on
yeah.
it. Eh? Okay, that's good. So, we're in prime maple syrup season, right?
Yeah, this is the closing of the season for this area, I think. At least it is for us.
Yeah.
When the buds come out, they say the sap turns bitter, and we're actually experimenting a little bit just to see how bitter.
Okay.
So we got a little side boil on. Everybody should have a side boil.
Yeah. Side boil, eh? So, is that an experiment just to see if it's terrible, or is that going to be like a niche product? Like
I have no clue.
Maple bitter.
Everybody, everything I read about it says, you can't do it. It tastes terrible. And we're usually dumping it in here, and the end of the season, whatever. You got so much of it, it just all mixes in.
Okay.
But I thought, you know what? Let's just do that last day with the buds are raging, and just see what happens. Like I want to see what it tastes like. Just so we're doing a little.
Okay. So it's whenever you're tapping into the trees, you're looking for. It's not a date or anything. It's the weather predicts or dictates when you're gonna.
Yeah, so the season is when it is. Depending on... The buds actually came pretty quick this year, so it was frozen for a long time. We had a weird winter, right? It was pretty warm, and then we had these 3 weeks of, good freezing, and we were skating every day, which was fun. And then started getting warm again. So that's... The beginning of the season is when it'll start warming up during the day and freezing at night.
Okay. And how many trees do you tap into?
We had 72 taps or 73 taps in this year.
Okay.
Is there certain trees that you can't tap, or is pretty well everything kind of game to get sap out of? Obviously some create more sap than others. But
I like pine personally. It's a brilliant taste.
Is that real?
It's already syrup. It's just sticky. You just put it right on the
You don't really have to do anything to it, eh?
What's it called? In pine sol.
Pine sol?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's I forgot what it's called. I'll never remember now. Oh well.
What's it
it's a good COVID cure, I think.
Yeah. Yours COVID? Pine sap or pine sol?
Maple syrup.
Maple syrup. Oh, sorry. Forgot we're on maple syrup, right? So you can do any tree.
No, I was kidding. Maple trees you can do. Birch you can do.
It's mostly all hardwood, essentially.
Walnuts you can do. I never really thought about that, but maybe, yeah.
So is there any other people make walnut syrup?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, there is?
I've had, growing up, my Pepe had walnut maple syrup, and it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. They even make an ice cream.
Oh, yeah?
Mixing the two.
Wow.
Maple walnut.
I think I might have heard of that.
Yeah.
Popular one, yeah.
So, size of tree, you can, what?
10 inches is the minimum. People do them smaller, but it's just dumb. It hurts the tree.
Okay.
So if you have a 10-inch diameter tree, you can put a tap in it. You can do multiple taps in bigger trees,
Oh.
but you need it's usually like a 20-inch tree. You could put a second tap in. You don't want to do more than 3 taps on a tree. I've seen 6 at places, and you just kind of go, okay.
What? Yours are all one tappers, are they?
No, so
Okay.
we'll have some bigger trees that
Okay.
we'll get a couple taps on. But
Now, when you tap the tree, can you hear it cry?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No joke. What you gonna say? But draining this, I have no clue.
We
what I'm
have
gonna say
trained
here.
woodpeckers that actually they drill the holes for us.
Oh, yeah.
Little marks.
yeah, it's
That's
good.
I did hear a couple when we
Yeah.
arrived. So I was
it's-
wondering
it
what they were
helps.
doing.
Yeah,
So no, being serious. So, what does the tree doesn't need this sap? Like, does the sap not help the tree grow? Like,
yeah, but that's why I think you've got a 10-inch because it's getting it.
Oh, it's still
from,
getting-
it's
and-
getting
and-
a good flow of
Okay.
So it's
of
excess
sap coming up,
already.
and yeah, you're just cheating it for a couple of weeks.
Okay, and it doesn't mind then.
And once the blooms are coming out, then you pull it and it's got it all.
Oh, okay, it's just all always concerned me. Like, I
Are you like a tree activist? Yeah.
Yeah, I
tree
tried,
hugger,
I
right?
tried to stay away from maple syrup because I thought it was hurting the trees. No, but no, that's interesting. So, what kind of average amount of sap or what? Like, how much do you pull from a tree, or what? How does that work? Like, whenever you put a tap in, like, does it just weep automatically, or does it? Like,
Yeah, you can see. So as soon as you drill, so you drill in about 2 inches, and then you put on an angle so the gravity's helping you. You know, I thought maybe if I did it the other way, I'd just make it work for a living. So,
Pump it
but
up.
no, it's yeah. So immediately you see it's starting to drip out, and it just looks like water. The kids like to go underneath and just
Oh yeah.
suckle it a little bit. It adds a little flavor to the bin, to the batch.
Just
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
taste.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, luckily you filter it then, so that's not.
Yeah.
So again, so what do you say? How much does it like?
It's weird. I don't really. I'm
No science or?
Well, there probably
Oh,
is.
okay. It's-
Google. That's how I would find out. and
Hold
then I
on, you
could
keep
tell
talking.
Yeah. So no, it's just some trees you'll get after a day you'll get this much, and others it's overflowing the bucket. So I don't really know. I mean they talk about southern exposures being it's the best place to
Oh,
put
really?
your tap. If you're doing it each year, you kind of run out of places to put the tap because you don't want to be doing
Oh.
the same hole a bunch of times.
Does it matter the height? Like obviously lower is kind of better. Or
Yeah, we talked about that. I've talked with a bunch of other maple syrup guys, and I see it everywhere from like just a foot off the ground to maybe a couple foot because you have to have a bucket underneath.
yeah,
To 4 or 5 feet, and that seems a bit high to me. But I don't think it honestly makes a difference to the tree. I think it's just about
because
what's
in your
convenient.
head you're just like, oh, it all just sits at the goes to the bottom of the tree, right? And you'd have a
It's weird because I think it's actually coming.
oh yeah, from the
coming
root
up.
system kind of.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. Huh. Yeah. Then earlier we were talking about like one of the biggest heists in Canada there with the maple syrup cartel. That was
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Clouseau was on that.
Yeah.
one, yeah.
That's- So how does that like why would that be such a big thing? Like,
So
I'm not Canadian, obviously, so that I may be offending
Well, it
you,
wasn't in
but-
it wasn't in Canada. It was actually in Quebec.
Oh, no, sorry.
Sorry,
My apologies.
sorry. No, that was a joke. Totally a joke. My Quebec friends. Some of my best friends are from Quebec. Actually,
Not anymore.
we're from Quebec. Yeah. No, I'm. So yeah, in Quebec they have a cartel, government kind of sanctioned, where all syrup has to go through this company, and they have pretty brutal force of law enforcement. And just reading up on it, there's a lot of people who complain about it, and so that's why it was a bit of a Robin Hood story. I think people felt kind of a little bit like they had it coming when they got but it was a huge billion dollar, $100 million
It's
heist
like
or
several
something.
millions for
Yeah,
sure.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
I like exaggerating.
Yeah, I like the
Yeah.
billions. The
It was
billion
a-
sounds good.
I think it was a trillion.
Oh,
actually.
yeah,
It might have
wow.
been. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and if
awesome.
anyone doesn't know, Canada doesn't use gold bars. We use maple syrup.
That's
as
our,
our,
that backs our currency.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah?
currency.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all back down, eh? That is interesting.
It makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like after the guy stole it, was he planning on selling it, or was he just planning on kind of screwing him over, kind of deal? That's what.
No, you don't. I'm sure that it's valuable stuff, right?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
like, how do you? sell on the black market, like ship it over to
The
another
thing is,
country?
it
So
isn't.
did they get away
It's
with
not
it?
like it's. I think so. It's not like it's numbered, right? You know,
True.
you rebottle it, or it's all in barrels anyway. So you bottle it somewhere and you know,
Nobody's
sell it
ever
in
known.
Texas.
Yeah.
There's no maple cartels in Texas. I've heard.
Yeah,
No,
No,
lots of other things, but
other cartels. No
I got
maple.
it, got it.
Yeah.
So back to the syrup or the sap that you're getting. So you did 75 trees, you said?
75 taps.
75 taps.
Yeah.
How much did that get you this season?
200 gallons.
Wow, that's a lot of maple syrup.
Well, that's a lot of sap. It doesn't get you that much syrup.
What was the ratio you said? It was like 40 to 1?
Well,
or
so 40 to
51?
1 on a sugar maple. We've got silver maples
Okay.
primarily here, and so it gets us between 40 and 50. They told us it could be as high as 80 to 1
Really?
on the sugar maple,
Really?
or the silver maple. So I'm glad that we're actually pretty close to.
You're
Yeah,
getting, you've got good trees now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can see on the camera, we are sitting in the sugar shack, and Steve is boiling his sap right now. So how long of a process is this? Once you have the buckets, you've got peels everywhere. I see off sap. What's the process then?
Yeah, you just try to keep the fire hot and keep pouring in the sap, and it just whittles down. You know, so out of 200 gallons of sap, you end up with about between 4 and 5 gallons of syrup.
Nice.
So that's just a lot of water going up.
That's a lot of
All
effort.
steam. Yeah.
But the reward must be worth it. As a Canadian, just to have that little bit of your own maple syrup, it has to be.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we inject it in the blood, right? So
right
yeah.
in, eh? IV. Wow.
So it gives us that Canadian feeling. It really is fun with the kids,
Right.
doing it together. And there's something, you know, you're not doing it for money because it's not,
Right.
it's not that profitable. But they actually, so we give the kids the bottles and they sell the bottles,
Nice.
and then we go to Costco and buy some for our pancakes because we sell it all.
Just buy the
Yeah.
Kirkland brand, eh? Yeah, it works out a whole lot better, eh? So that's the process. So you just bring it in, you pour your sap, you filter. Oh, I've seen you've got a filter going on here. So yeah, it's kind of dirty. I'm guessing. I haven't really.
Yeah,
looked into
bugs
these
and bark and all kinds of stuff fall in it as it's coming out of the tree.
So
So
you-
we filter it before it goes in the evaporator,
Yeah.
and then we filter it again before we'll take it out of here and kind of do a final 2 more boils. Actually, we'll do one out on a campfire out here in a big pot and get it close to the boiling point, and then we finesse it on the stove. We're kind of a small operation.
I've seen there's like 2 kinds of maple syrup too. There's like amber, and then there's like what's the
Oh, it's
the
more
color?
than that. There's light, there's amber, there's dark amber, there's grade A, grade B.
Like what is
I
up?
mean-
Like what? Just is it like
So
the triple
it-
distilled water kind of thing?
Yeah. No, so I think earlier on in the season, it's a little lighter. I think how long it boils for makes a difference. So if you can boil it faster. So some of these commercial operations that got these really amazing, you know, they're just everything's hot and they're pouring it in. They'll get a bit more of the golden color. The longer you boil it, the darker it gets. I actually prefer like a grade B dark because it's got more of a maple. The light amber stuff just tastes sweet.
Just sugar kinda.
Yeah, it just kind of loses a bit of the authentic taste in my
Right.
view. I kind of like the mapley.
Yeah,
Flavor
for
to
sure,
it.
for sure. Well, how's that chocolate cherry?
Oh, yeah,
pop?
so we are, like, as we have guests on here, we are trying to find local products to share with our guests. So I did find a locally made soda pop from the Soda Pop Rose, and we were all encouraged
Yeah.
to try some. I have
Which
got
is something that no Canadian has ever called it.
what?
Soda pop.
No,
No.
No,
What- so-
that's like I think that's Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
well,
kind of
I grew up that we called it all lemonade.
we call it pop.
what you called pop lemonade?
Everything all lemon. So
Really?
we would have a delivery guy who came with bottles of like 1 liter bottles
Like root
of
beer
pop.
lemonade.
Yeah.
That's weird.
In the South, they call everything Coke, so you
I've
can get
heard that, yeah.
you can get a Pepsi Coke.
Pepsi Coke. Yeah. So anyway, this the one I went for here to taste is chocolate covered cherry, and it is certainly an interesting taste, but it does taste exactly like
You
what it
gotta
says.
pour a little bit
You
of
want
that
a little
in
bit of
there.
this?
Yeah. I went with root beer. It's very good root
Would you
beer.
like to try this?
Yeah, I would.
It's gonna be
I've got ginger beer because I like the spice.
No, you were dead. Like if anyone's had those chocolate covered cherry candies, that's
what it is.
This
It's like they've mashed it down and
yeah, that is weirdly right on. Like it's not even subtle. It's like
no,
chocolate cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good for sure.
So, yeah, big fan. So if you want to pick this up yourself, the Soda Pop Bros are on Drewlard Road in Windsor, or online, Facebook, all that. But yeah, I thought I'd give this a try. So Steve being our first guest there to try the ginger. Now, is that a good ginger beer or is that
It is. Yeah, it's got. I like a ginger beer that gets a bit of a bite in the back of your throat.
Burn.
that does?
It does.
Yeah.
It's authentic.
Yeah, no, the root beer is good. I went kind of safe for sure, but the root beer is definitely a better root beer I've had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
me a little taste. Sorry, we're kind of off topic here, Mel, but you'll forgive us. Like I said, this show is us rambling, really. So
I should have not drank out of my bottle.
yeah, you didn't want to share.
Yeah, I was protecting
We
it.
give everybody a little cup so we could share if we wanted to let us each other taste. But Steve said no, I'm having the whole bottle. So
Yeah.
I noticed though for sure it's way more fizzy.
oh yeah, definitely,
Like
definitely.
even when you pour it in the glass, it like you have to pour it slow because like just fizzing up.
Now here's a true story. First time I came to Canada, I was given root beer. I never knew what it was. Tasted it. Thought it was the most disgusting thing ever. Honestly, it just tastes like mouthwash to me. But I don't like not liking things, so I've always tried to overcome those. So a few things I don't like is I like most things, or I'll eat most things, try most things. I hate cucumbers, porridge, and root beer. And I like root beer. Cheers. But cucumbers still can't touch them. And porridge, I just think it's pointless. People all say, "Oh, I love porridge," and I go, "Oh yeah." He goes, yeah. Put maple syrup on it. Put brown sugar. You go, no. So you just like brown sugar. You like maple. You like jam. Whatever. Nobody likes porridge.
Yeah.
Porridge just is.
I
gross.
prefer it in a sheep's stomach.
Yeah, I bet you do.
So does Ireland even have lemons?
Lemons?
No, right?
No, we don't grow
Obviously
any.
not,
No,
That's
tropic
why you
is
call it
trop-
lemonade. You have no idea.
Yeah,
what
but
it
we had no
is.
clue.
Yeah.
So, we would have had a lemonade man. So the guy came delivery once a week.
That's way better than milkman. Just
Yeah. So we'll have milkman. We'd like a man for everything. Coal man, bread man, done the deliveries. But we had the lemonade man, and he brought, and you'd order your 1 liter bottles from him. But it was all lemonades. So I grew up until I would have came to North America for the first time. It would have been just everything I was just associated with lemonade. And then when I got lemonade when I came here, I was wondering why it wasn't fizzy. Oh, at least you could have got this one right. No. So anyway, that's a totally little bunny trail there. But
Yeah.
anyway, back to the maple syrup. So what process? So you put it on this big. What's this called?
That's our big evaporator.
Evaporator.
Evaporator. Yeah, big fire going on in here. Just trying to burn off as much steam as fast as you can. That's the name
Now,
of the game.
what I find interesting is like speaking of last year, and then we're talking about this year. I guess this is a couple of day process, and you don't have it's a fair amount of sap. You've got a couple of 100 gallons, but it's mostly water. But this is still like a nearly 2.5 day process.
I've done it all in one day. It's about an 18-hour day, and this is more.
That's hot.
Yeah. Fire. This is more sap than we've had before, so I've kind of broken it down into a couple days,
Okay.
and you can let it cool off and come back the next day and fire it up again. Doesn't hurt it.
So I seen it like an article on the wall over there. It's like it's so cold in Canada, not even the sap is running. Like
That was a few years ago.
Oh, yeah?
That's an old article, but
No,
yeah,
I think that was around about 2003.
yeah, exactly, precisely.
some good
You're
memory.
very up on these things.
I do my research before these shows. Like
Yeah,
I
good.
just don't turn up to these things.
No, it is. It doesn't take much actually. When I saw that headline, I kind of smiled because if it's freezing during the day and you come out here,
It's just not
sap
running.
isn't
Right?
running. You go
Okay.
and the whole thing's like frozen right out coming out of the
Oh
tree.
yeah.
So
That's
it
that's
just
kind of what I
means-
figured. Yeah, just
It just
there's a
means it's got to
headline
be
grabber,
thawing
right?
to run. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Interesting.
there's a guy who wrote the headline who didn't have any clue what he was.
Okay, that's
talking about.
that's
So
exactly what I figured.
would that just postpone the season?
Yeah.
So like you're like it's
not-
going to have to get warm
I
at some
think-
Yeah,
point.
we're not going in
So
ice
you
age,
can
right?
you can do the longer if you have days that are really on the border. So you've got warm days, cold below freezing nights, but the days aren't warm enough to really fire up the trees. I think you can extend it. I mean, you know, we've had a month-long season before. I think up in Quebec in the north they get a better, longer run. But down here, it just it either goes real warm or it goes, and so you get these days where it's 3 or 4 days of above freezing, and then you get some cold ones, and I think that speeds up the.
Well, like last week, right? It was like 20
Right,
degrees
yeah.
or 70 in the Freedom units, and today, what are we at today? Just about 1 degree today. A little
The
different.
what units?
Freedom units.
Oh, fire. Okay, I got you.
So it's like a little warmer or a little colder today than last week by
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, we picked the coldest day
Yeah,
in the
no
last
kidding.
week to come here.
So if it goes like, say, last week it was warm for what, 4 days, and then it's cold for another 2 weeks.
Depends on if the buds aren't out in the trees, yeah. Sometimes if it's warm for too long, because it doesn't really run when it's warm. I mean, it does initially. You get a good warm day after a freeze, it'll be pouring.
Oh yeah.
But then it slows right down. And I think, from what I've been told, that the freezing builds up a pressure in the tree, so it kind of stops it.
Oh, okay.
It kind of builds up a bit of pressure, and that's why it's coming out. So, yeah, you have to have that action. If it's too warm for too long, the buds are coming out anyway. And if it goes back to freezing, I think it just delays it. But I think there is. I had a friend who put his in. He had his taps in for a month and a half because he went pretty early. We had some warm weather, and then it froze up for a while. But then the taps didn't really run afterwards. So I don't know. We're all experimenting at this point.
Is there like a pretty good like maple syrup scene, I guess, in Essex County, or is it?
Yeah, it's growing actually. It's
Really?
interesting. I was looking at I was googling some information, and they had this map of all the different farms and how many each produces for what the average is and all. In Essex County, I think they said there was 3 farms and each produces about 72 taps.
Really?
Which is maybe that's where I got my number
so
from.
you're like a top producer.
No, I'm right in the middle. I'm a very mediocre kind of person. But I know there's more than 3 people doing it now. So
Yeah.
I thought, well, I don't know where these statistics are from, but it is a growing. I mean, I have personal friends. There's that are doing it. A whole bunch of different folks that are doing everything from one tree to, checking in on the neighbors and tapping all theirs. So
That's cool.
Yeah, so like if you did one tree, what would be the point?
Well, actually, it's amazing because if you got like I told you, one tree,
Right.
one tap might be filling up a bucket in a day.
Yeah.
And that bucket's not a 5-gallon bucket, but it'll probably be, 3 of those would fill up a 5-gallon bucket, and you get that running for 2 weeks, you'll get a bunch of syrup. So, a lot of people will do it just to have it at home and just say they did it.
It's crazy too, because if you look at Google Earth, Essex County, not much trees, right? And like
Right, yeah,
seems
well,
like a lot.
yeah.
Everyone has got like a hardwood forest. Is not everyone, obviously, but like a good amount of people are doing it. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Lots of driving down Walker Road. There's a couple of houses.
Yeah, you can see all
the
the
buckets hanging.
or the tubes. You can see the vacuum
Yeah,
lines or whatever. I
yeah.
assume they're vacuum lines, right?
They are, yeah. And I don't know whether I'd ever do that. I mean, sure, it's easier. He actually has some here that came with the property, but it just seems like just a little bit. If you had, I mean, there are guys. You understand there are guys who do in 60,000 acres
it's insane,
of trees, and you'd want some vacuum lines.
Yeah.
I think if you're doing that, you don't
So
want
like
to collect
a
buckets.
commercial, are they? They're just growing a forest for maple syrup. Then
That's what they
Or
do.
they buy the land for it, I
They
don't
may selectively deforest or have some
Logging
tree
or-
logging, yeah. But I don't really know. I mean, those are the major producers.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that they have the inspectors coming and
right.
checking
Yeah,
and
the
locking their maple
cartels there.
syrup
That's it.
up.
Because like a 10-inch maple, that's like what, a 15-year-old tree, somewhere in that range, probably.
Yeah,
or-
though maples grow a little faster than the oaks, but yeah, probably 10 years.
So when you get into like those big trees that are, I don't know, 30 inches, those are like 40-year-old trees or whatever. So like guys aren't out there like planting maple forests expecting to come back in 40 years to like harvest it, or like
I don't really know.
I wonder,
these were here when we got the property.
Yeah.
But does somebody go into it just thinking that they're gonna
like plant and come back in 15 years?
for
Maybe,
maple?
I don't know.
I think it's possible.
Yeah, for
but
like the big guys, maybe.
you'd probably
yeah.
be planning it for your kids more than you plan
Yeah,
it for yourself.
Sure, for
yeah.
sure.
That's nice. I don't got to plant trees for my kids. But, no, maybe I would, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't do anything with them. So
Maple syrup's delicious.
yeah,
It's a bit of a gamble, yeah.
yeah. You've got a lot of you're a lot riding on that for like say tell you, oh, don't worry, I planted you a few trees.
Yeah.
Come back there in 40 years.
You got to
and
build a sugar shack
sugar
and everything.
you've got lots of time to prepare for it. I guess you could test them on that if they were really getting into the preparation side of
Yeah.
things. You know, building the sugar shack, sourcing out or making an evaporator.
You send them over to my place. We'll
You'll
put them to
train
work.
them?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
just
train them up.
Get them nailed down.
Then I
for
could
it.
go to bed and they could sit out here and
Now,
burn it off through the night.
one of your, it was a family member or somebody made a video last year.
Oh yeah,
Little
my
document-
niece.
Your niece.
Yeah.
So is that still available?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay, so what we'll do is in the show notes we'll link that because I think
Sure.
that goes through the whole
It's-
process.
yeah, you get
rather
to
than us
see the
just
kids
rambling
doing it,
nonsense.
too.
Yeah, the kids. It was nice to see the kids doing something, and they seem to enjoy it. Right?
They seem to,
They
yeah.
seem to. On screen, they seem to enjoy
Yeah.
it.
We pay them well, so
Pay, so you don't pay them maple syrup then?
we do. But right now, they're at the age that that's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's great. So, yeah, so we'll link that. We'll get the link off you, and we can share that so people can get a bit more information rather than just hearing us ramble about it. But
Sure.
And like somebody just getting into it, obviously you don't need a big setup like that to just get in it. You just need a big pot, put your sap in, and just boil it down. Essentially, right? Is that?
Yeah, you can buy this stuff pretty cheap and get it anywhere. You could even use these 5-gallon, food grade buckets.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen those where instead of just having it hanging on the tree, where the bucket sits below, and they have a tap with like one of those hoses, and it just runs it down into the bucket. So it's pretty easy to get that for 1 or 2 trees if you want, and experiment with it. It is really fun. A lot of work for how much syrup you get, but
and you can do it on the stove, really.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, for
cool.
sure. I got a friend who has that one tree that he's doing, and he does it in a turkey boiler
Oh yeah.
because he gets enough volume going on it that he wants to do a big bucket or big boil. But yeah, turkey boiler will work.
Pretty cool.
Probably a little cheaper than maybe doing it on the stove.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
What are good questions you got?
So at the end of this race, so you get down to your few gallons, and then you and the family just sell that to people locally, friends, family. That
Yeah,
kind of thing?
we put it out on Facebook, and in about 30 minutes, it's all sold.
So is there a waiting list for this year's, or can we get our names?
We're not
down?
that good, so
So
I don't,
I can request one
yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
Good, I'll have one.
Yes, me too.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Because actually last
Definitely
year, Gabby, my middle daughter, she really enjoyed it. Said it was really good tasting. So much so that nobody else got any. So she's in Italy this year. So maybe
Very good.
maybe I can get
You
the
sent her away to Italy
Yeah,
so you could have some syrup.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
impressive.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I'm really committed to having
Yeah.
some of your maple syrup this year.
Wow,
So,
I'm honored.
yeah, yeah.
So we did a contest with the kids. We designed a family, brand,
Right.
so a label for the syrup, and my wife kind of spearheaded that. And they 4 of the kids came up with a design, and my wife's a graphic designer, so she tweaked a little bit to make it a little
Right.
bit more professional, but really kept the spirit of the kids' design. And then we put it up on Facebook and had them vote on it, and I think we got 500 people voting.
Wow.
on
Oh
the thing,
yeah,
and
awesome.
had one of the kids win, but then we printed all their labels, and they all got to
Oh, yeah.
sell their own label.
So
on
you're
the
one of
syrup.
those everyone's a winner. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad. No, I think that's rightly so, Steve. That's how things should be. Everybody wins.
Yeah, yeah. Gee, now I'm feeling guilty about it. Giving my kids a little attaboy. Not this year, kids.
Yeah, only one.
No, so now I know you entered a competition over there with Erica, John R. Park Homestead.
Yeah, John R. Park
So
Homestead had a-
how's that formed, or what's that like to enter?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to enter your. They give you the qualifications and a clear bottle with no markings on it and stuff. They don't want to have a bias.
Oh yeah.
And then they have a professional taster who's, I guess she's one of those noses or whatever they are, and she does the judging, and we came in second last year. So
Anyone ever cheating, like go by Kirkland and just putting in a
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's possible. We didn't just
No.
just
No.
clarify.
So like, do you get critique back on it?
Yeah, that was kind of the best part about it.
Okay.
Was I already knew that was actually that year we had. I think I'd taken it off the boil a little early, so it was a bit runny. And so I thought we did pretty well with some running syrup. She mentioned that we probably needed to go a little longer.
So-
That was another. She mentioned that I don't know how she knew this, but she said, "Do you wash your filters with with laundry soap. So
Tide.
yeah, I think she might have eaten some Tide Pods or something, so she knew what it tasted like.
Oh, that's nice. So was that kind of advice for you then? Don't wash them.
Yeah, she just said wash them in the machine without any soap. That
Oh,
might
right.
help. She said, but she said it was really good syrup, but somehow I mean, there's no way I could have ever. But the nuances. She said she can tell if somebody leaves the door open that they get too much smoke in it, and
Oh wow.
I mean, it's sort of.
Really?
She
She's
can
got
really
quite the
tell.
palate, eh?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, it's a good gig if you can get it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, you only get what? You only have to work a month a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Wonder what I could taste.
And then, like, how many people, like, when she passes away, is there someone
This is only.
to take over that position? I feel like that's a very.
I got my name on the
Yeah,
list.
you're in it.
Yeah.
That's
So,
interesting.
so that's pretty much the whole process then, and then that's it done for the year. Put it to bed. Get on with other things in life.
What else is there?
Oh, it's true. Sorry again. I'm not Canadian.
Yeah.
I apologize.
you got lemonade over there.
Yeah, lemonade. Yeah, it's time to make lemonade.
Yeah.
So us being bird watchers, this would actually be a good property too for some birds as well.
Well, we mentioned the woodpeckers already.
Yeah, so you definitely
yeah.
got woodpecker. I'm
I,
assuming there's some,
I figured I'd get it in that. Just you like how I did that
yeah,
for the
you,
bird
you
show.
caught me
Yeah,
attention, and
yeah.
hopefully everybody else's attention. Get any owls around here? Owls.
Owls. Okay. Owls. Yes. We do actually. It's kind of nice. You'll hear those. Don't we got hawks. Lots of the typical cardinals and blue
Right.
jays and all that stuff. We've
Cool.
had lots of turkey vultures.
Oh, I bet.
We always know when something has gone awry. Oh.
The vultures have arrived. Well, actually, we should be starting to see them too. This is getting to the time of year that they turn up. It must be just in time for maple syrup season. Or
That's where they come back, probably.
They're same schedule. I think we've covered everything. Anything else to add about maple syrup or your little setup here? Anything
What's
you
the
wanna-
maple syrup brand? Like, how do they find you if they want to
Oh,
put
yeah,
their
if
name on
any-
the list?
Yeah.
Man, gosh, we haven't even done that. We haven't created a website or anything. It's just it's really fun. I used it to teach the kids some business ideas because I kind of lean that way. So the first year, I said to the kids, "You guys want to be entrepreneurs or employees?" And they said, "Well, what's the difference?" And so, well, as an employee, every time we go and collect the sap, I'll pay you for your time, and you're guaranteed that money, and I'll give it to you. If you're an entrepreneur, you'll go and you'll work that way, and we'll collect the sap. You won't get paid anything. But when it's all done, you'll get some syrup to sell, and you'll probably make more money than you would as an employee. But you also could make nothing if we get a bad year and the syrup's
Yeah.
not running, or if I burn it like I did one year. You get nothing.
So it's all on you then.
That's it.
So-
I'm your
yeah.
employee then.
Yeah. So my eldest daughter Hannah said, "Well, I want to be an entrepreneur," and the others said, "Employee."
Really?
Show me the money.
Yeah.
So we did that, and at the end of the year, when she got some bottles to sell, they were like, "Huh." So next year, every one of them wanted to be
Oh,
entrepreneurs.
really?
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
They caught on quickly.
Yeah.
Now, with the age gaps in your kids, is there going to be more, is there more entrepreneurs this year?
Everybody wanted to be an entrepreneur once they saw
Yeah.
how that worked,
Okay,
which was the message I was
That was
trying to
the
send
lesson.
anyway. I was
Yeah.
hoping that way.
that's
That would
interesting.
work. If I'd burned the syrup that year, I would have just really blown up in my face.
Well, it's- yeah,
the whole
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Is there insurance? Is there a policy written in? If Dad destroys it, we still get.
No,
No? Wow.
because Dad does the bulk of the effort anyway.
Wow.
I don't even keep bottles to sell for myself.
No.
Yeah, man, I got to rethink this whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
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 It's very generous of you. It's just you. I know. I thought, okay. Yeah. So that's about it then. So the kids have learned some business skills.
Yeah, and then
It's-
designing the labels and all that kind of stuff. It's really fun. We heard from through our Facebook. We have a friend who works for one of the larger grocery chains in the southern United States, and I guess he didn't know how big the operation was. He voted, gave us feedback on the label, said this is the one that's most marketable, and then he says if you want to sell through our grocery chain, just let me know.
Okay. Here's your.
I'm on the phone to Quebec, and
We need some of the reserve.
That's
That's
interesting.
awesome.
That's fun. Well, I appreciate you taking your time away from your boil to have a chat with us, and I've found it informative, and hopefully anybody else who's watching has.
It's too bad we don't have any pancakes because we could like end the
Yo.
show with a little.
Oh, it would be nice, eh? Just
Yeah.
even just dipping the pancake in there right now, eh? It's, oh. But anyway, appreciate your time.
No, thank you. It's fun.
So, I think it's a goodbye from Nick.
Like, goodbye from Donnie.
Right, goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye from Steve.
Yeah, right.